every time I see videos like that, I'm like, I'm no better than that person. Like I could have been got. Like I could be the person.
At least not on your worst day, right?
Mhm.
That guy's probably better than that guy 80% of the time.
Yep. Yeah, just one horrid mistake and like, nope, life's over. That's the end.
I could see myself, taking out a ladder, not seeing the power lines. The next thing I know, I'm one of these guys.
I'm not above that.
I saw a video. I don't know. I was like, those guys are dead. And somehow they're alive. It was like 3 kids going to whatever Chicago music festival. And they're like, let's take an iconic picture of ourselves sitting on the Chicago train lines, and the 3 of them are sitting there. And then one guy reaches back and touches the 3rd rail. And his buddies are like, what are you doing, man? And then the girl reaches for him. She's like, and his other buddy's like, my friends are on fire and 10 million volts are going through their body. And then they're like, somehow they survived that, which made no sense to me.
Dude, just like this year, I was installing a ceiling fan myself. And Jackie, my smarter wife, says, should we turn it off at the circuit breaker? And I was like, no, I thought of that. I turned it off at the switch. That apparently is not how that works. Somehow when you turn it off at the switch, there's still power at the part you're working on. Dude, the ceiling, this is the Game of Thrones room. So the ceiling is like, I don't even know, 20 feet tall or something. I'm way up there on a ladder. And thankfully all I did is see sparks. I was like, oh, I didn't do this right.
Jackie, not that you were right, but go ahead and hit that breaker down in the basement.
No, I don't do
totally
that.
Unrelated. Yeah, I don't understand how electricity works in that way, like with killing people sometimes. It's like maybe it's just like how healthy your heart is, because you'll see someone get shocked to shit off a 3rd rail and they'll survive, and then someone will stick a fork in an outlet and die.
Right?
There's the guys who get hit by lightning and then they're like, their whole face is gone, like they try to rebuild them, but they don't have eyes anymore because their eyes shot out of their head. And you're like, how'd that happen to that guy? And then other guys, nothing happens.
That guy wishes it happened.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Some guy just get their hair singed.
What an unavoidable
hair singed? That's the best.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's cool. A cool story.
I know I've told this before. My high school girlfriend, I dated a really, really, really pretty girl my senior year, but I got her at the perfect time. She was making brownies and her hair like singed as she removed them from the oven. So like this fucking dime was like a 7 when I dated her. And then rose back out of my league again.
You were like, all right, we got 8 months till that hair grows back.
No, it was quick. Yeah. So just like the first 4 weeks I dated her, whatever, she had singed hair.
I don't think I've ever accidentally really shocked myself on anything.
You sweet summer child.
I don't
know how many times I have.
Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would get shocked on the farm all the time.
When I was a little kid, my dad managed a bunch of Domino's pizza franchises. And I don't know if you've ever been to Domino's, but they make the pizzas on these big metal tables, with the dough. Mm-hmm. I was just hanging out, running around, and I touched the table, and for some reason there was like a wire touching it, and I just was like, ah! And I started like screaming and crying. And for some reason, everybody in the restaurant's like, what the fuck's wrong with your kid?
He clearly loves pizza.
Like, what's wrong with kids? They just start crying for no fucking reason. And then like 10 minutes later, an employee goes to make a pizza and they're like, oh, fuck, that thing's just a giant electrified table.
That's what kids like to do.
To tell you. They're like,
run around and cry with their black fingernails falling off. Like, that's what.
How old were you?
I don't know. I must have been really young because I remember all going, yeah, kids just cry for no reason. And I was like, no, it hurt. And they're like, you're retarded. And then finally, they're giant electrical
I did
table
touch the stove when I was very little.
Say it again.
I touched the stove because I wasn't buying how hot my mom implied it was, but she was.
It's good to be suspicious.
She was telling the truth. I should have known when it melted that entire G.I. Joe foot off.
Who could have guessed your mom had your best interest in mind?
I burnt my eyelashes off and my eyebrows off before with like a gas explosion.
The acetylene?
No, different time. I mean
that was the one I thought.
No, I liked lighting gases that exploded and made fireballs and stuff. I'd feel like big
hated eyebrows.
Hated eyebrows. And didn't quite understand that if you lit like gas inside of a pipe, it would whoosh and make a fireball out one end. Got shocked so many fucking times by like 220 and like wall sockets. But I think the difference is sometimes they get like locked in on. I saw a video once of they're in like a gas station and the guy goes to grab a soda and the machine is grounded out, it's shorted out through the handle. It's one of those old timey metal handles, and he's just like stuck to it, and some dude has to like drop kick him, like Sparta kick him.
Yeah,
off
you
of
get
the machine.
stuck to it. It's weird.
Yeah, your muscles clench up from the electricity. So
yeah, I've heard this test for electricity with the back of your hand is safer.
I wouldn't think about that as like a vending machine.
Yeah. I don't need a Coke that bad. Let's go.
Well,
I always watch that G.I. Joe PSA where bulldozer comes along and has to take the wire off the car or whatever the fuck the black one was.
They had a PSA to not shock yourself for G.I. Joe.
Yeah, they're like, stay in the car. You remember when those guys were making those G.I. Joe PSAs, the fake ones?
Yeah,
that was one of them.
I saw one where a puddle was electrified, and one person falls in the electric puddle and is dying, and the other person tries to grab him, and then he's shocked and he falls in, and the third person's like nopes out and leaves him to die.
I want to know the answer to that semi-retarded question that Trump asked about how electricity and water works. Like, I want like a real electric expert to just tell me, if you drop a really powerful electric battery or something that's still live, how close do I have to swim to that in a big body of water before it reaches me?
I'm not sure.
Everybody was ripping on Trump
if
for
that
being
works.
so stupid that he doesn't know what happens. And I'm like, low key, I don't really know what happens. Like, I mean, obviously, if I stand next to a car battery, that's nothing. But if we scale it up to something that powers a boat,
I don't know.
Like, would you feel it? You probably, because like you'd probably feel it before you got to like the painful part, right? Maybe you'd like feel a tingling or something weird in the water.
Is it even discharging electricity? In the boat, right? So you're very close to the battery. I guess it's through the whole hole. Right?
I guess not that close then. But I never understood that either. Why you don't get shocked, or like how if lightning strikes the ocean, like how far away would a fucking fish or a shark have to be before they were cool? Like it
I would think it would dissipate like pretty quickly because it just would spread out in so many directions that you're not going to really get the full brunt. Although I guess if you're in a pool, you get destroyed, right?
That's true. How often did that happen though? Was that a myth so that my parents didn't have to watch us swim?
Well, pools aren't
pools are contained though, so it can't go anywhere. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like pools are low to the ground. I've seen that video of those people standing under a tree in a lightning storm. It kills them all. It hits the tree and they all fall over dead.
That sucks. That'd be
a video of like a quartet of golfers get taken out at once. They too were like the only thing standing in the area.
Holding the worst thing.
Yeah. Check out this titanium driver, John. You wouldn't believe. It's an extra.
I really want you to get a good look, so I'm going to hold it in the air where everyone can see it.
It seemed like they were just kind of ignoring the rain, playing through, and zap.
You're not supposed to do that.
It's like I don't know, upsetting, shocking. Like when I just see someone click from living to dead that quickly, like it's wild. Suddenly 4 people are, I think, dead.
Boom. Yeah, my uncle was operating a floor jack for a car. It's all metal, 4 wheels, and you've got a handle you pump up and down to jack the car up. And lightning hit a tree outside, not even in their yard, but like down the road a little. And it went like through the ground somewhere and up through that metal handle and shocked him so badly he had to be carried indoors. Like they took him inside and laid him down. And then my cousin, his son, was in a poultry house, and those things are full of metal, and there's metal wires hanging those big metal feed lines down the sides. And he had his hand resting on the metal feed line walking through the place, and lightning hit the building and it ran in and hit him so bad he was like burst into tears, just squalling. And he was a man grown by this time, so we thought he was gay when we saw him cry. But turned out it was lightning.
Turned out he was struck by lightning, and it wasn't gay at all.
No, that's how you become gay. Lightning does it to you.
Oh no,
that's where gays come from.
So he stood up, dusted himself off, and sashayed out of that poultry house.
Yeah, he dressed so much more nicely after that day. Everything was different. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now that I mentioned,
I've never been struck by lightning though, and I fear it greatly though. Growing up, I always unplugged everything. It was my parents were like, unplug the TV, and
unplug the TV.
Yeah, I'd be like, I'm not unplugging that fucking TV. That's a myth. Lightning killed the fucking TV.
Really?
Yeah, and they're like, didn't you have it unplugged? And I was like, I did. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that wild?
Isn't that wild? From the socket. Yeah.
It must. Maybe it happened not while you were gone telling me to unplug the TV. Like maybe it was some other time than that since you've been gone.
Yeah.
And
No, I
and
didn't watch the CSI Miami whole lineup while you were gone.
They're like checking the TiVo. It's
Yeah.
this is starting to not add
at
up.
11:54. No, that's wrong.
Did you guys remember being told as like that same vein as the TV thing? Like, don't take a shower or don't take a bath when it's thunderstorming out. That's something that I've let go by the wayside.
Let me tell you why. Like. All right. So my fear is that the metal piping that leaves the tub is going to make it so that lightning could hit like outside or the perimeter of the house, but it follows that piping in somehow to the tub and electrocutes the water that I'm in and kills me.
Well, Kyle, let me tell you about the journey I just took. As you're saying this, I'm like, what a ridiculous notion. I'm on Team Taylor. This is wild. But I'll Google it. I Googled, can you take a shower during a thunderstorm? The answer is no. Lightning can travel through plumbing. It's best to avoid all water during a thunderstorm. Do not shower, bathe, wash dishes, or wash your hands.
Man, I've been rolling the dice just doing
one point.
And I literally thought in my head, I was like, yeah, a bath. Of course, that'll get me but who takes baths? Like, I'm not a Victorian woman.
No, every day I take my bath.
Showers. And I pictured like the Mythbusters where they pee on an electric fence, but by the time the pee gets to the electric fence, it's in like individual droplets, and so it doesn't chain up. I was always like, yeah, it's like what a shower is. Like it's all in droplets by the time it gets to
Mythbusters when they tested
Mythbusters did the pee one, not a shower thing, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. It makes sense to me.
It's on the internet, so Kyle's right.
I guess I'll stay dirty when it's raining.
I neglect my ablutions when rain comes from the sky and thunder is allowed.
Well, it said to stay away from plumbing. You can still go outside and shower.
Oh, that's true. Just go stand in my yard.
Yeah, that's safe.
You ever seen the old John Candy, Dan Aykroyd movie, The Great Outdoors?
No.
Yes.
There's a part where you meet this guy. They're all vacationing at the lake. They live in Chicago. They're vacationing down in some lake that probably doesn't exist in fictional Illinois. And they meet a guy who's been struck by lightning, and he's like got a white streak through his hair, and he's very odd, and he has a stutter that he got from the lightning. And they're like, "That's Earl right there. Earl, how many times have you been struck by lightning now?" And Earl goes, six. And John Candy goes, 6 times. Wow. He goes, 6 times.
66 times.
66 times. And everybody goes, holy shit. And sure enough, before the movie's over, like a storm happens, and you see that guy, and he's going, oh. he's looking at the sky with fear and running, and sure enough,
you live in a treehouse. Like, what was happening?
There are people like that who have been struck like 2-3 times, like, and they're not forestry agents up poles all the time. You know, it's just like it's the same way as those guys who win the lottery like multiple times. There was a guy they're doing the news report, and he's like, "This is where I was when I won the. This is where I was when I won the lottery, and I bought a ticket just like this, scratched it up." I've won again. More this time. Quite a bit more. Like he'd won like a ton of money, like sitting there on camera. It's one of the sickest, like how does that happen? Like, we've all played the lottery at least once or twice, a scratch off here and there. Mm-hmm. And like this guy's won 2 of them.
Never hit.
No.
Yeah, never
I don't think I've ever bought a lottery ticket, but I've been given them. Like, I don't know if this happens outside like the Northeast much, but you go to a party and there's a lottery ticket on every plate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like Christmas, sometimes people will be like, "Oh, there's some scratch offs in your stocking."
I tried doing that once, but I did it for a family. Like, I went to Christmas at some family's house, and I was like, "Hey, I got everybody a scratch ticket," and none of them had ever done scratch tickets before, and they all thought they had won $1 million. I'm like, "No, you have to match the fucking number." I was like, "Do you guys really not understand this at all?"
Yeah, really? You thought I gave all of you $1 million? A these?
Why did it say $1 million or something?
It needs to say it was 3
like
times.
You got to match like 3 cherries or something. They're like not matching the things right. I'm like, let me just look at it.
Yeah, oftentimes
nobody won.
Oftentimes it'll be like 32 little individual squares you scratch off, and each one is a dollar amount. And if you get that dollar amount 3 times, you win it. And then there's a multiplier box off to the side, and it's like 3 times. Okay, that's $100, and the multiplier is holy shit, 5. I won $500. But it'll say $1 million out there twice, just like the old Monopoly game from McDonald's. Like, everybody's got Boardwalk, We all waiting
Mhm.
on Park Place. You know?